do according to 36, so you're together.
No, we got 15 days to be together. Better be the husband. 11:01.
Do you remember what the name of the guest was? No. 4101,
Rain a year. So having a sunny day like this today, it's a blessing. We are starting our tour, and this that we see on the left-hand side are warehouses, or were warehouses for the fishermen. Here is where they statue the fish and where they kept their boats. Nowadays, all these buildings are used for private companies or artist studios. And in this side of the city we have the fish museum. And in this side of the city we have the fish museum, the fisherman museum. We're gonna have a little stop over there afterwards. Men hej, jag tänkte på, ska vi stoppa här hvis vi ska gå över? On the right hand side, all these small white houses, these are very typical houses from Bergen. And this is the side of the city where these houses are very well kept. And in this side of the city as well, we have the tiniest house in the city. We don't see it exactly from the bus, but it's over there somewhere. In the city. And this yellow building right here on our left hand side, it's called a rope walk. This rope walk is where they used to make the rope for the ship industry. This is the second that we have left in Bergen, and they stopped using it in the 70s. This is one of the tunnels that we are driving on today. We will be driving a few tunnels today. Norway is known as the country of the 1,000 tunnels, and that's because since after the 70s with the oil industry, Norway started to build a lot of tunnels around the country. That way it was easier to travel and to get to different places in the country. Indeed, one of the largest tunnels in the world, it's here in Norway. It's 3.5 hours north from here. It's called the Lardaltunnelen, and that one is 24 kilometers long. It goes under a whole mountain, the Lardal mountain. And it's so large that inside the tunnel you have a roundabout. And this used to be a farming area. And as you can see, this on the left hand side is the Eidsvåg Marina. We have plenty of marinas around the city of Bergen. As I mentioned before, it's not strange to find a Norwegian with a boat. since in the old days this was the way of traveling, to transport yourself, and nowadays they use it for leisure, since we have the tunnels. We can see up in the north, like the Song of Fjordene, which are part of the UNESCO, and like this one in the north, in the Song of Fjordene area, that's the largest and the longest fjord in Norway. Over there we find the Nærøyfjorden, and that's the deepest one. In the south of Bergen, we have the Hardangerfjord, which is as well part. So from here you can really enjoy the view of the fjord. This is the city fjord again. The land that we see on the right hand side, it's part of one island. So what I mentioned before on the bus, okay, the Sutra is behind it.
Right.
And I don't think we see so much of the Sutra island. And then behind that island is the open ocean. Okay, the Sutra is behind it.
Right.
And I don't think we see so much of the Sutra island. And then behind that island is the open ocean. About 5 million pounds to buy a house. Yeah. I don't.
Car you want?
This way.
This way? This way?
Access to water. They didn't have restrooms or showers. So in 1889 came to the city a German doctor, and he had the great idea to build a public bathroom, and that's the house. We can still see the house today here on the left hand side. That is the Dr. Wesener. Today it's a pub. So people still gather in this building. But it used to be the public bathroom for the area of Sandviken. And we are entering the very city center now. This is we will be driving now on over the oldest recorder street in Bergen. That's the Øvregaten. And what we see today, this church on the right hand side, this is the Maria Kirke or St. Mary Church, and that's the oldest church in town. It's called as well, is known as well as the German church, since the Germans, the Hanseatic League, they established their headquarters just right here next to the church on the houses of Bergen. These wooden houses that we see on our right hand side, this is the back side of the houses of Bergen, where the Hanseatic League
again, they established their headquarters here for almost 4 centuries. I will be telling you a little bit more about their history later on in our tour, and we will be as well driving just in front of these houses. This is one of the most emblematic places in Bergen. Whenever you Google Bergen, it will pop up the pictures of these houses, the houses of Bergen. So as I said before, this is the oldest street recorder. It's called the Øvre Gaten. And this Øvre Gaten leads us directly to the lower station of the Fløibanen. The Fløibanen is the funicular. It's a 800 meters cable car, a funicular that take us up to the mountain of Fløyen. Just here on the left-hand side, the White House. That's the lower station. So from there you can take this funicular. It will take you about 6 minutes to reach the top of the mountain, which is 300 meters above the sea level, and you have one of the best views of Bergen from there. Is the most visited mountain in the city too, since it's so accessible with the funicular. The house that we just passed is the Kjøtt Bazaar. It's in old days you could go over there to buy meat, this house with the bricks, and it's standing just next to the fish market, which well, it's disappearing little by little now because it's winter time, or it's starting the winter season. Now we're in autumn, but the red tents that you see here, on summertime, this whole place is full with these red tents, and that's the outdoors fish market, and it's open on summertime only from May to September, so that's why they are closing now. But the fish market, then buy the fish directly from the fishermen's. Nowadays, it's very rare to see that, at least not in the city. In the small villages, of course, you can keep doing that, but not here. Here you have to come to the fish market. You can come in summertime to the outdoors fish market, but if it's winter time, then you can come to the indoors fish market, which is this building that we see on our right hand side. And this building was opened in 2012. It's a great place to come to see or to eat the delicacies of the Norwegian seafood. Nice view of the houses of Bergen. Very soon we will have another photo stop from where we have a lovely view of the house called Nordnes, or the nose. This is a small peninsula. Here, on the other hand, we have a lot of concrete houses, quite high buildings that they're not so popular in Bergen, because Bergenses, they love building with wood. But the reason why we have this kind of buildings here is because this area was destroyed during the Second World War, and it was bombarded by the English that were behind the Germans. another thing that is important about this neighborhood, this street, is that there is the old neighborhood for the great composer Edvard Grieg. Edvard Grieg was a composer. He was born in the middle of the 19th century, and he grew up in Bergen. He was born and he grew up here in Bergen, and this was his childhood neighborhood. Another building that's very important for the Bergen's history and Norwegians is this house, this yellow house on the right-hand side. Nowadays it's a pharmacy, but it used to be the house of Ole Bull. Ole Bull was a virtuose violinist from the 19th century, and he was not just a virtuose violinist, he was a very good looking man, and he was very popular with women. And the story tells that the women who worked with him, they were doing a great business with his beauty, because when he was playing, he was sweating a lot, he was drying the sweat with tissues, and then the women who work with him, they pick up the tissues and they gather the sweat in a small jars, and then they were selling these jars by the end of the concerts. They were selling the elixir of the Ole Bull. But Ole Bull wasn't just a good-looking man and a virtuous violinist. He was the responsible to establish the theater here in Bergen, the nationale scenen, or the national scene. And it's this building that we see here. Well, the theater was established in 1850, but the building that we see on our right-hand side, dates from 1909. This is a strange statue too. So they worked together, and especially for the Per Gynt, since Grieg, Björnson, although was from the beginning of the 19th century. It was Henrik Ibsen.
Question for you.
Yes.
Was Bergen a Viking settlement at all?
For many kings, today's prince of Norway, and the one who is going to become the one who is going to become the king. It's his name is Håkon the Seventh. That's he's the prince of Norway. So at least here in the city of Bergen, we will find only one Catholic church. The rest of them are Protestants, and one of them is right here on the right-hand side. This is, for me, one of the most beautiful churches here in Bergen. I guess you will agree. It's a lovely neo-Gothic church from the 19th century, and it's called the Johannes Kyrke. It's there. Maybe you saw it. It's the statue of Edvard Grieg. It can have 1,200 people in the inside, and what we see on our left-hand side, this is the Bybanen. This mountain on our left-hand side, this is the highest mountain in the city. Ulriken, it's 600 meters above the sea level, and you can reach the top by taking a very nice walk or hike, or but in all times it was possible to sail from here into the center of Bergen. This is called the Danmarkplads. Driving outside, we're leaving the city center now, and we are driving towards the suburbs of the city of Bergen. You know, the city of Bergen has 300,000 inhabitants. The airport. Here on the right hand side we have the other rope. Every 17th of May, Norwegians celebrate their national day. That's the 17th of May. Silver and gold, and the price go up to 50,000 crowns. That's about 5,000 euro for one costume. But it's a lovely day. When Christian Michelsen came and dissolved this pact between Norway and Sweden. So it was in 1814 when the 17th of May of 1814 Norway signed the first constitution, but they couldn't get their independence until 1905, when Christian Michelsen, the first prime minister, dissolved the pact between Norway and Sweden. But then they had a small problem. They didn't have a royal family. They didn't have a king nor a queen. So what they did is that they kind of imported a king. They had a very nice relationship with Denmark, so they asked the royal family in Denmark if they could get one of their princes. From here we see too one of the mountains, one of those 7 mountains that surround. A little bit more about the history of this great Norwegian composer. So as you can see, this is they were built after the Second World War, and they were building for the working class. So this is a part of the suburbs of Bergen. Norway discovered oil, then it just bombed this great industrial force here in Norway. Before that, before 1969, which was the year when Norway discovered the oil, before that Norway was actually a very simple country, quite poor in a way, and farming and hunting, just the way they country. As I mentioned before, Norway now is known as the country of the 1,000 tunnels, because you have so many mountains that you need to have tunnels if you want to inside the houses of Bergen you can walk. It's a nice place to walk inside and discover, and then you have plenty of souvenir shops.
and it's a 10-minute walk back to the pier, to the ship. So that's not far. So I'm gonna make a quick stop here for those who want to stay here. Otherwise, we will continue to the pier.